An infestation of rats. Today we're going to take a look at A Plague Tale: Innocence, and I'll let you know my thoughts on if this game is worth playing. A Plague Tale: Innocence is a story-driven game taking place in France during the 1330s when the bubonic plague ravaged the land, killing millions. You play as a young girl, Amicia, as she protects her ill little brother Hugo, not only from the infestation of rats, but also from the soldiers of the Inquisition as they chase you down. The narrative takes you through different realms, meeting different characters in your quest to find a cure for Hugo. The design encompasses a blend of distraction and stealth, along with puzzle elements in your navigation through each level. This isn't just a basic escort mission. Oh, I know how we all hate those. But no, this is a well-designed adventure that is just disguised as an escort mission. The graphics of the game are very good. The world design and contrast of color set a distinctive tone. The lighting of the world rivals other big-name game engines, and it's utilized amazingly, which should be the case with light and fire being key elements in the game mechanics. The textures are top-notch and character rendering provides amazing detail. It's not perfect, and the flaws are perceived in the character animations, mostly prominently in their speaking. While that does distract a bit, it's far from a deal-breaker. It merely reminds you that you're playing a game, and not a AAA title at that. In addition, they allow for an immersive playthrough setting, which I'll talk about more in a little bit, but it was nice because it removes all HUD elements from covering the beautiful graphics of the world they designed. Sound design is a little lacking, and I would like to think that they could have a stronger sound presence in the game similar to the light effects. I would have liked to have had a stronger impact of rat noises as the horde moves around you, or possibly integrate the sound into some of the stealth puzzles. I can imagine some of the levels where you not only have to hide, but in doing so you lose line of sight and you need to listen to the soldiers to know when and how to move. So I think there's some missed opportunities there, but who knows, maybe they can throw that in for a sequel. In its current state, I don't think the game could have handled that type of concept, as the directional sound of the characters speaking, it was present but not dialed in so tightly to be able to reliably handle an extreme usage like that. But the lacking of better sound doesn't detract from what is there, which is nothing to complain about. The voice acting was okay, nothing I would say was remarkable for an award or anything, but not bad by any means. They kept the French accent strong enough to keep it real, but not overly so that it sounded poor. However, the music is the better note here. The soundtrack is clean and original, pulling you into the time and place and pushing the emotional narrative of the game. It's easily one of the most immersive aspects of the game. The composer is Olivier de Riviere, and hopefully I'm not botching that too much in the pronunciation, but he really brought it home on this one. So much so that they're actually selling the soundtrack separately. You should make sure to check out his SoundCloud and Bandcamp pages to give a listen to a variety of his work. It's so good it actually makes me want to jump into Vampire or Remember Me to see if those also have enhanced experiences due to his composition. I'm extra excited because he's working on Dying Light 2, and Den and I are both looking forward to doing another co-op livestream of that one. Hit the links I've listed if you want to check out more of his work. Difficulty of the game is a one-size-fits-all scenario. It plays as it is, without a choice of difficulty, which is sort of unusual for most games. It's not hard by any means, but it's also not easy either. I think the best way to describe it is simple, yet challenging. They do a great job walking you through the play mechanics of the first couple levels, then they just take off the training wheels and let you go. What seems fairly linear in design is deceptively more complex. Yes, the game is definitely linear and they design the puzzles and stealth aspects in a certain way, but they give you enough tools to give you a personal voice in how you play it. While I wouldn't say there are many different paths to take or different ways to get through levels, watching somebody else play showed me that many of the times you don't only have one choice. The game allows for 2 types of playthroughs, one standard and one immersive. The immersive version removes all HUD elements and visual prompts. That's how I played through it, and I felt it was a far better experience than with the HUD. As a side note, I played it again with my wife on her account, and she played with the HUD on and with subtitles. While nothing was wrong with that, I definitely felt I got the better experience out of it. There are 16 chapters in the game, 17 including the epilogue, and a couple of those are story-driven set pieces that are only about 10 minutes long. In total, it's about 12 to 15 hours of gameplay. So not only is it fairly linear, it's quite short. I took my time playing it, among playing other games, but you can bang this game out in a weekend no problem. But don't let quantity distract you from quality, because the game story, characters, and level design are a lot of fun. Probably more fun than I've had in a long time. Which brings me to replay value. While my initial reaction is to say the game doesn't have any replay value, I feel that experiencing the game is an event, and once it's over, it's over. But in reality, I played it a second time with my wife, and I quite enjoyed it again. I don't really have any desire to play it again, to complete all the collectibles or any such side nonsense like that, but I can see myself reminiscing about the game at a later time and revisiting it for another playthrough. Sort of like how you'd watch a movie that you've already seen. So take that with a grain of salt. I don't think you'll take that 15-hour game and play it 4 times to make it a 60-hour value of enjoyment. No, but you can definitely come back for added value later. For a full price of $50, I think it's worth it, but not quite if you're on a budget. On a sale for less, it's totally worth it, and you should jump right in. My final takeaway of the game is one being very positive. A unique story was presented, and some great characters. There were some pretty decent game changes in the story that added tons of interesting value towards the end. However, while I loved all the characters in the story, I felt like it didn't get fleshed out enough. Not everybody in their story seemed to have an impact. In a game so story-focused, I would have liked to have seen some better character development. And while the relations of the characters did develop a bit, it just wasn't enough in my mind. The ending did illustrate some final states of the characters, which vaguely alludes to more story and gives me hope for a decent sequel. But overall, I felt that the finale was not as powerful as the rest of the game built up to. That's all I feel comfortable saying while keeping this spoiler-free. What I love most about this game is the stealth and puzzle aspects presented in a unique way, giving some phenomenal gameplay mechanics rather than a typical, boring escort mission. Top that with some decent characters in a beautiful yet sometimes frighteningly dark world, and you get a great gaming experience that I think everyone should try. How about you? What looks good about the game to you? Or have you played it and do you have a favorite part? Let me know in the comments below, I'd love to hear it. And of course, if you liked the video, throw a like on it, and I'll see you in the next one.